Welcome back to the Maths and English YouTube channel, and in today's video we're going to be looking at how to plot a straight line graph. So again, we're going to have three key points we need to understand. Point 1, how do we use the formula? Point 2, how do we use the x, y grid, so this up here? And point 3, how do we plot the points on the graph? So let's get straight into it. Point 1, how do we use the formula? So here we have the formula. Complete the table for the values y is equal to 2x plus 5. So this is the formula, and that means this will not change. It's going to be the same for every single value you plug in. And to make sense of this, we need to use point 1 and 2 together. So how do we use the xy grid? So this is the xy grid here, and all this is we plug the number of x. So x is this top row and y is the bottom row. We just plug the numbers into the formula. Example here, when x is equal to 2 minus 2, y is equal to 1. So what we'd do is plug them two numbers into the formula where we see y and where we see x. So x is minus 2. Here, what we have is we have x is equal to minus 2. So instead of it being x here now, we have minus 2. And instead of y just being y is now 1. So we put that into the equation. So what we now have though is a blank space here, here and here. So what we need to be able to do is work out them values. And we do it exactly the same way by putting the x into the formula. So instead of the x here, we have minus 1. Here I've plugged in the minus 1 in place of the x. And the key thing to remember is the rest of the formula always stays the same. So we've still got the 2, then we've got times the minus 1 and the 5 still the same and the y. And then we just have to solve this part of the equation. The first part to solve is the 2 times minus 1, which is going to give us minus 2. And then we have to plus the 5, giving us a total of 3. So that 3 means y is equal to 3. So we can have y equals 3. So now we've got our y value, all we do is plug it into the graph where x is equal to minus 1, y equals 3. Do exactly the same, but x is then equal to 1 and also 2. So what I want you to do is pause the video and have a go at working out what y is when x is equal to 1 and what y is when x is equal to 2. Hopefully you got the values for y as 7 and 9. If so, great. If not, go back, watch over how I did it again and have another go. But that is point 1 and point 2 ticked off. So how do we use the formula and how do we use the x, y grid? Now let's move on to point 3. Okay, so point 3 is we now need to plot these numbers or these points onto the graph. And how do we do this? So it's actually pretty simple. All we do is block them off as if they're pairs. So x is always first, but we block them. So let's say this is pair 1, this is pair 2, 3, 4, and 5. So let's start with pair 1. So we always look at the x first, and x here is minus 2. So what we do is we go down onto the grid and look on the x-axis at minus 2. We make a little line there just so we know where we are. Then we look at the y, which is 1. So we look at the y-axis and we find the 1. We find where them 2 points connect, so minus 2 and 1, and we put a mark on that point. Let's try one more and then you can have a go at the other 3. So x is minus 1, y is equal to 3. So again, we look at the x is minus 1 and y is equal to 3. So we go minus 1x and y is 3. So again, pause the video and have a go at completing the rest of this graph. Okay, so hopefully you had a go and you had your points looking like this, but there's one other thing we need to do. The final step is to connect the points with a straight line. So all you would do is get your ruler out and draw a straight line across that point. So yeah, that is pretty much all plotting straight line graphs are. You should always finish with a straight line or else you must have done something wrong. And it's just about putting the different numbers into that formula to find the y value and then to moving that onto the graph. So if this video has helped you, make sure you hit the like button as it helps the channel grow massively, and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next video.